perimeter cabinets, which are painted white, and now it's time to build the island. We decided to build the island out of mahogany, which will provide a really nice contrast between the white cabinets and will also blend the old part of the house with the new. I just got back from the lumber yard where I picked up this gorgeous mahogany, and now I'm ready to start cutting. So the first part of any project is to take all of your rough lumber and mill it down to spec. What you see here are all the pieces for the exterior part of the mahogany island. Now we're matching the island with the existing woodwork in the butler pantry, which has this beautiful V tongue and groove paneling on the walls. So for my next step, I'll be taking all these pieces and I'll be milling that V tongue and groove. Okay, so the first step in cutting all the V-groove paneling is to set up my router table. And to do that, I've got two separate setups, two separate bits, one to cut the tongue part and one to cut the groove part. All right, all finished milling all the tongue and groove for the paneling on the island. As you can see, I've got a lot of pieces here. This ribbon mahogany is just absolutely gorgeous. It's going to look beautiful once it's all put together and finished. That shine, all the ribbon figuring in there is going to really shine and shimmer once this is stained and finished with a nice semi-gloss finish. I've got a lot of work left to do. This was a big part of the job right here, is getting all this milled. Next I'm going to run this all through the sander, get it rough sanded, then hand sand all the pieces, then I'm going to have to stain and stain these at least all before we put it together. So I've got lots of work to do, so I better get to it. So now that all of our pieces are done, we're going to run these things through the drum sander. So this is a real workhorse of the shop here. It's a double drum sander. If you look inside here, we've got 2 drums. On the front drum we have 1 grit, on the second drum we have a finer grit. And what this will do is this will flatten out all the pieces very nicely and give us the first rough sand. And then of course afterwards we'll have to do the finish overlay sand. You can't see, but on this mahogany, when it's plain, it gets kind of fuzzy, and no matter how smooth you plane it, that fuzz still comes out. So this sander's perfect for it because it sands that flat and perfectly smooth, and then all we have to do is do a finish sand with an orbital sander. No fuzz. You'll also see on these pieces that we have burn marks from the planer. It just happens. So another great thing about the sander, it's going to get rid of all those things also. All those marks will disappear. Okay, so I've sanded all the pieces for the wainscoting, and I also sanded all the pieces that are going to comprise the frame, which all of that is going to fit into. So you can see it's all sanded nice and flat. We'll have to do a nice finish sanding. That's going to be a beautiful finish. So the next step is to miter. So on those corner pieces, as we saw here, those are all going to be a mitered corner like this. So what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be cutting that angle, and we're going to fold those 2 pieces, and from the outside it's going to look like a solid 4x4 post, giving it a really nice heavy look. So for that I'm going to do that on the table saw. First I need to set the table saw and the blade to a 45-degree angle. So you can see after we've cut a nice 45. Now when these come together, I'm going to get a very seamless look, especially with this ribbon mahogany with the vertical grain. It's going to go together just perfect. I can't wait to see it. So with the outside shell frame and panels assembled, the next step is to install all of these boards of tongue and groove, and to do that we'll have to mill a rabbet in the back of this panel for these to fit in. So that about wraps up this part of the project. On my next video I will be assembling all the V-groove paneling, and at that point you'll be able to watch the island really start to take shape. Until then, thanks for watching.